Peace, peace, family. We're coming at you live from everywhere. Happy Juneteenth. This is Lumi from the Peace Poets. I want you to join me in raising your voices towards liberation and sing this song with me. It goes like this. I am not afraid. No, I am not afraid. I will live for liberation, 'cause I know why I was made. I am not afraid. No, I am not afraid. I will live for liberation, 'cause I know why I was made. Sing that. I am not afraid. No, I am not afraid. I will live for liberation, 'cause I know why I was made. I am not afraid. No, I am not afraid. I will live for liberation, 'cause I know why I was made.
I saw the sun cascading over mountain ranges. I made it to the top. An eagle told me what my name is. Told me to say it loud when the times are dangerous. That's all the time when the children aimless. They lost, but they know how to aim the stainless. The world is so surprised when they see their pain. Slavery to prison, we still feel the chains. Tribes got over traumatized, don't know their names. It takes generations just to make a change. The elders are the lineage from where we came. Sacrifices never take in vain. 'Cause if you're driving fast, know they paved the lane. The youth and the elder, they are one and same. All of humankind, we are one and same. Karma's when we catch up to each other's pain. That means café en el campo when we make it rain. Liberation for all, that's my only aim. Liberation for all, that's the only aim. Liberation for all, it's the only way.
No, I am not afraid. No, I am not afraid. I will live for liberation, 'cause I know why I was made. Peace.
If I rule, if I rule, if I ruled, if I ruled, I say if I ruled, if I ruled, if I ruled, if I ruled, if I rule the world. My daddy said he's gonna change the world. Gigi Floyd said, my daddy changed the world. 6 years old with a smile on her face as the world cries out for justice. Maybe Sam Cooke whispered in her ears, a change is gonna come. Or maybe she heard Nas sing, I'd free all my sons. Maybe she knows about them black diamonds and pearls. Baby girl, you right, your pops changed the world. If I rule the world, I love them, baby. Black diamonds and pearls. We'll walk right out to the sun, hand in hand. We'll walk right out to the sun, we won't land. He walked right up to the sun, forever young, the heart and witness of a 6-year-old girl offering us hope. Gigi Floyd, your dad changed the world. Gigi Floyd, your dad changed the world. Offering us hope in a 6-year-old voice. Gigi Floyd, your dad changed the world. My name is Reverend Waltrina Middleton, and I am the Executive Director of Community Renewal Society. And I'm so happy to be here in solidarity with our family, with the Truth, Racial Healing, and Transformation organization committed to reconciling and eradicating racism and poverty, disrupting systems of oppression. Our organization is 137 years old, and we focus on issues such as just housing, police accountability, fair taxes, and building a beloved community. TRHT is a comprehensive national and community-based process to plan for and bring transformation and sustainable change all around our world through the process of peace building and creating beloved community. I'm so happy to introduce my sister and friend, Pilar Audain Reed, who is the Director of Truth, Racial Healing and Transformation. She's also the founder of Rap Your Beauty movement and fellow community activist. Before Pilar comes, I also want to celebrate our comrade, Jose Antonio Rico, who is a community leader and educator right here from Chicago. He's also the former executive director of the Obama administration's White House Initiative on Educational Excellence for Hispanics. And he has also been a strong advocate, teacher, father, deeply committed to community building, racial equity, and empathy in all of his endeavors. We are so grateful for all of the talent that have gathered with us to help us not only build community, but to celebrate and claim liberation for all. So we celebrate peace poets, we celebrate all of those who will come and join us today in song and artistry, and most importantly, in love.
Yes, welcome, welcome, welcome. Now it is time that we center our minds and our hearts, that we take a moment from our busy days, our busy schedules, our busy lives, and pause and give honor to those whose shoulders we stand on. Let us take a moment to quiet our busy minds, to have our children sit down, to turn off the computer and the telephone. Let us take a moment to consider those who once walked this earth, who worked hard, who thought hard, who prayed hard, who loved hard, who came and went on our behalf so that we could be here right now, sharing this space, commemorating their legacy and standing firm, back straight on their shoulders. Let us give thanks. Today we gather in honor of our ancestors who found their way across the Atlantic, made their way to the Americas. First, we honor those who chose the water. Let us give thanks. Let us give thanks for our ancestors who knew that their fate as walking dead in the Americas would not win, that they would succumb to the great mothers. Let us give thanks. Let us give thanks. Let us honor. Let us stand on their shoulders. Let us give gratitude. Let us consider all of our sacred brothers and sisters who woefully planted their feet in the Americas on that day, June 19th, 1865. Let us think. Let us take a moment and sit and close our eyes. Let us sit in their bodies. Let us think their thoughts. Let us remember, what was it like? Let us think, let us honor, let us together say Ashe. Ashe. We stand on strong shoulders for those who once walked this earth in our places. Let us together give thanks. Let us close our eyes, let us open our hearts, and let us consider our brothers and sisters who touch the four corners of the earth, north, south, east, and west. Those who we may never, ever, ever see, but somehow, some way, we know that their contributions, that their breath, that their lives pave the way and somehow affects our lives today where we stand. Let us together give honor to those brothers and sisters and say, Ashe. Let us consider all of the amazing gifts that God blesses each and every one of us with. Let us consider the writer. Let us consider the singer. Let us consider the dancer. Let us consider the creator. Let us consider the inventors, all of our brothers and sisters who, full of the gifts that God vested within them, paved the way for us, did great things, opened many doors that we could walk through, doors that we walk through right now. Let us consider our brothers and sisters who lived and died sharing their divine gifts so that we could honor our gifts today. Let us together on their behalf say, Ashe.
Ashe.
Let us consider our parents. We've experienced a lot of loss. We've experienced a lot of pain, grief. Let us consider those who fell mercilessly beneath the gun smoke of racism. Let us consider those who fell prey to a wicked health system whose needs were never met. Let us consider all of those who ushered our being into the world today. Let us give thanks to our mothers, to our fathers, to our grandmothers, to our aunts, to our uncles. Let us together think of all of the blessings and the lessons and the teachings. Let us give thanks right now for all of those who helped us be who we are today. Let us together say, Ashe, on behalf of the mothers and fathers. Let us consider the unborn. Let us think about all of those souls who have yet to come back and try it once again in this thing called life. Let us consider all of the mothers who are with child right now at this moment. If you can hear my voice, take your hand and embrace your womb. Let us stand in the gaps for all of the children who have yet to come. Will it be easy? What will life be like? And what roles are we playing in creating a new world that they will one day have to walk through? Let us give thanks for all of the children who have yet to come and bless this earth together. On behalf of the unborn, let us say, Ashe.
Ashe.
This has been a year, 2020. At the start of the year, who could have ever known that today we would meet a fate such as we do? On behalf of all of our children, as a mother, I stand here. My heart bleeds for our children who lose their lives every day due to an unjust system. Let my sister and I, as she accompanies me in voice, let us give of our being a bit of love and energy to all of our children whose souls still walk the earth, who left here untimely. Let us give thanks. Let us let them know that their lives were not in vain. Let us say their names. On this June 19th, as we stand here in honor and in deep, deep, deep gratitude for our ancestors, for those who came before us, for those who paved the way, for those who opened the doors, for those we may have never met, but somehow their lives enrich ours. We read their stories in books. We listen to the words of their songs. We look at their pictures. We imagine what it would be like to hold conversations with them and ask them questions that we only think in our minds and hearts. For our children, let us say their names: Emmett Till, Harry T. Moore, Claude Neal, Arthur Young, Dorothy Dorsey, Malcolm, George Dorsey, Murray Dorsey, Roger Malcolm, Eric Garner, John Crawford III, Michael Brown, Ezell Ford, Michelle Cusseau, Laquan McDonald, Kyla Moore, Manuel Loggins Jr., Ronald Madison, Tanisha Anderson, Akai Curley, Tamir Rice, Rumaine Brisbane, Jerome Reed, Joseph Mann, Akiel Dinkins, Gregory Gunn, Brendan Glenn, Yvette Smith, Matthew Ajibade McKenna, Akai Gurley, Sharice Francis, Ramarley Graham, Latanya Haggerty, Margaret Laverne, Tamla Horsford, Robert Fuller, Malcolm Harsh, Tony Robinson, Anthony Hill, Maya Hall, Sean Bell, Philip White, Eric Harris, Walter Scott, William Chapman II, Alexia Christian, Brendan Glenn, Victor Manuel LaRosa, Jonathan Sanders, Freddie Carlos Gray Jr., Joseph Mann, Salvador Ellswood, Sandra Bland, Albert Joseph Davis, Darius Stewart, Alize Raymond Smith, Jerome Keonite, Billy Ray Davis, Samuel DeBose, Michael Sabi, Brian Keith Day, Christian Taylor, Troy Robinson, Pharaoh Manley, Felix Cooley, Keith Harrison McLeod, Junior Prosper, Lamontez Jones, Patterson, Brown, Dominique Hutchinson, Anthony Ashford, Alonzo Smith, Tyree Crawford, India Kager, Levante Biggs, Amadou Diallo, Michael Lee Marshall, Jamar Clark, Richard Perkins, Nathaniel Harris Pickett, Benny Lee Tenor, Miguel Justin Howell, Rakia Boyd, Kevin Matthews, Betty Jones, Quintonio LeGrier, Keith Childress Jr., Miriam Carey, Janet Wilson, Randy Nelson, Sean Monterosa, Antoinette Scott, Wendell Jones, Celestine David Joseph, Colleen Rockmore, Disney Perkins, Christopher Davis, Marco Loud, Peter Gaines, Tori Robinson, Darius Robinson, Kevin Hicks, Mary Trujillo, DeMarcus Seymour, Willie Tillman, Terrell Thomas, Sylvain Smith, Alton Sterling, Philando Castle, Terrence Crutcher, Paul O'Neill, Alteria Woods, Jordan Edwards, Aaron Bailey, Renell Foster, Stephen Clark, Antoine Rose II, Botham Jean, Pamela Turner, Dominique Clayton, Tatiana Jetterson, Christopher Whitefield, Christopher McCorvey, Eric Reeson, Keonite Spencer, Darius Tarver, Covey Dimmock, Hessler, Corey Jones, Michael Lorenzo Dean, Trayvon, Brianna Taylor, Ahmad Arbery, Tony McDade, George Floyd, Sean Reed, Rayshard Brooks, Oluwatoyin Salau. To these souls, we say thank you. We say that every day of our lives, each and every person under the sound of my voice will work, will pray, will strive to the depths of our core to be the best that we can be, so that we may stand in honor of your legacy, of your life as you shine like stars in the sky. We thank you. On behalf of all of our loved ones, together, as we walk forward in power, in honor of our ancestors, in honor of the emancipation of the Black man and woman, together we say, Ashe. And I'd like to introduce someone who needs no introduction, my sister, the African butterfly, Ugochi Wagugu. My African
Mama,
sister.
mama, 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 Africa. Mama, 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 Africa. Who would I be without your gaze? You inspire me in sacred ways. Summon my soul to symphony sing. You've given me everything. Mama made an image of God on best day. Kinky curls and curves bounce just right. Original blood type and skin protection synthesized into melanin connection, tint windows to my blood-stained world. I broadcast in living color, animating human life on sight, turning midnight black into indigo blues. Hey, what would Sankara say? What would Lumumba say? What would Queen Tatu say if they were alive today? In a recurring dream, I run my fingers through your luscious familia, stand on strands of soft, wild growth sprung from under, step foot on compound grounds bursting with village verve. Fertile promises plant seed, they take root, work power that surges to stars, resurrecting a galaxy in me. Reveals why I was born, built for times like these. The end may be near, but the beginning is here. Africa is the future. I emerge a new world. Where it ends does not depend on my fatherland. What would Fumilayo say? What would Queen Nani say? What would Asantewa say if they were alive today? Mama Africa, Mama, Mama Africa. I hear you calling your children by name. From across this one global ocean, 4 corners and 7 seas, begging please, Biko Chetam, don't forget who we are, Chetam, where preliminary planetary breaths commence and will conclude. I watch Mama's moon shine over the horizon, glimpse the sunrise on her royal patches of holy, and I am sure this one be blessed by creation to be an African. Motherland made indigenous for infinity, I expose true divinity in every era. Chineke mere me bere. Who do we have to be so the rest of the world can finally see? Cloaks and crowns, afros and halos, in the same pose and Hail Mary when they see our mothers. What would Queen Nzinga say? What would Queen Aminata say? What would Queen Amina say if they were alive today? What would Nkrumah say? What would Gaddafi say? What would Garvey say if they were alive today? Freedom is every day if you really understand what's happening. So, you don't have to wait till Juneteenth to get free, You put those practices in place every day of your life. And then one day you wake up and you realize you're free, even if the rest of the world may not be free. And what we need is more African and brown strategists in this community. And on that tip, I'd like to invite the next brilliant brown sister friend of mine, Claudia, who will share the plight of the Native American and the ownership of this land that was stolen by white settlers. She's going to get into that for us, my brilliant sister, Claudia.
Thank you, sister. Thank you for sharing that beautiful song. It was really moving. So, hi, everyone. I'm so grateful and honored to be here. Welcome, everyone. I want to speak a little bit about, well, first let me introduce myself. So I am the granddaughter of Josefina y Jose Covarrubias Osegueda, and the granddaughter of Refugio and Jose de la Luz Villalba Lozano. I am the daughter of Teresa y Guadalupe Osegueda, all of which were born in Mexico, mestizos, native, and with Spanish blood. I am the sister of Omar, Edgar, and Alex, and I am the mother of my daughters, Amber and Sophia. And as I stand here before you and speak to you, I also have them with me in my body, in my soul, in my voice. And second, I want to acknowledge that we are here standing on native land that was stolen and appropriated by white settlers more than 500 years ago. Originally, the tribes of the Potawatomi tribes and many Algonquin-speaking tribes were the original settlers or the original caretakers of this land. And for many years, they, knowing the land very well and knowing how to take care of the earth, developed routes and trails that were able to give them the ability to develop very complicated and elaborate trading networks. And for many years, the trading was very peaceful. There was all kinds of trading of hunting and jewelry and farming. And eventually their trading extended and welcomed in European traders as well. And that relationship lasted for a while. But then greed and wanting to take advantage took over, and the coercion of some treaties forced and pushed natives off their land. And so the white settlers appropriated what was already a very established, flourishing economic and social cultural center here in Chicago. In fact, currently, some of our trains and railways and our waterways are the very same trails that were created and established by our natives, the originals of these lands. And so it's important that we know our history, that we know where we are coming from and what we are stepping on, and that we don't accept a European-centric education or history to brainwash or erase our history. And so that's a little bit of history. I want to begin, before I go into my ceremony, I want to speak to the First Nations peoples of this land. And on behalf of my clan, I want to say, I'm sorry. I am sorry for what we have done to this land, because we are all complicit to the damage and the hurt that we have caused on Mother Earth. I am sorry that we have forgotten and lost our ways, and that we do not listen to the natives when they speak about the original instructions on how to live on Turtle Island. I am sorry that our waters, our air, our earth are polluted, and that we are threatening our own livelihood on this planet. I am sorry that we have not still learned how to really honor the moment of now, the sacred space that we inhabit now, and understanding that we have responsibility for those that come ahead of us. And so I vow, and I have for a long time, slowly, compassionately examine my own behaviors and my own actions, so that I call myself forward in trying to honor as best as I can the original instructions, and in loving all of humanity, all my relations by example. And so I would like to now speak to my brown brothers and sisters, mestizos, those that are born in Mexico that are living here, those that are born here from parents that are from Mexico. I want to call you in. Dear brothers and sisters of beautiful brown skin, I love you. I love our culture, our music, our colors, our sazon, and the joy we bring to every space. I love our love for family, our love for feeding each other, and the way that we hold everyone in our hearts and arms. Call you brother and sister. Sanene. Let's heal our bodies. Let's clean our minds. And hear the call of our ancestors. Let's return to our practices, our rituals, el copal, las danzas, Let's remember that we are of this land. Our ancestors have walked from South America all through the north and scattered and built homes throughout these Americas. The plight of our Black family is the same as ours. We were taken from our land, our bodies enslaved, our culture removed or erased. And it is time for us to return. Hey, hey, young. Hey, hey, young. Hey, young. Whoa, hey, hey, young. Hey, young. Hey, yo. I call in the ancestors. I call in the wild spirits to reclaim our bodies, to remember who we are, and fight. My brothers and sisters, my beautiful brown family, come. Let's join our Black family. And in solidarity, let's raise our voices. Let's remember a body that is awake can move a nation. Hey, hey, young. Hey, hey, yo. Hey, 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 yeah. Hey, 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 yeah. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, 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 yeah. Hey, 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 yeah. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey. Ayo. Hey, ayo. I call in the four winds and the seven directions. May we hear the call of our brothers and sisters, our Black brothers and sisters. May we come together and recognize that this is our fight too, and that we need to stand beside them. And together as one family, Black and brown, and all the marginalized and oppressed peoples, as we remember and awaken our bodies, we enter the sacred hoop, we hold hands, we feel our ancestors behind us holding like that corn in that corn silk, holding us tightly and feeding us their knowledge, their wisdom, finding it within our DNA, seeing ahead of us all those that are to come, our current children, and taking our place in the now in the center, seeing to our left and our right the sacred hoop that holds us, all our brothers and sisters in solidarity, raising, liberating our bodies, our minds, so we can join the brothers and sisters, our Black family, in their fight for liberation. Until every single Black body is free, none of us will ever be free. So come, join us into this circle. Hear the grandmothers. They are sitting by the sacred fire around the circle, holding the dream and the vision, and they're drumming. They're hoping we hear the call, that we remember who we are, that we see that we are all brothers and sisters. La lucha de la familia negra es nuestra lucha. Ya es hora. We are the ones that will liberate all of us as one family. Cultura cura, solidarity heals. Thank you. See you by the fire, screaming, Black Lives Matter.
Thank you, Claudia. My name is Jose Rico, and really grateful that you are here joining us in this incredible day of Juneteenth, an incredible day where we are coming together to celebrate our freedom, where we're coming together to tell everyone around us that the freedom of our people are inextricably linked. And this is something that our ancestors know. They knew when Africans were crossing the border into Mexico to be free from slavery and slave masters, when they would go to the jungles of Puerto Rico and Latin America to create their own maroon societies, our ancestors knew that our freedom is inextricably linked. When Latinos and Asian Americans win civil rights and court cases like the one that was won today for Dreamers, when we know that that fight was fought and won for from a hard fight and many sacrifices from Harriet, from Betty, from Rosa, we know that our freedom is inextricably linked. So we need to remember that although we are Black, brown, Native, that we've been experiencing white colonialism in many different ways, we are here now together. And we must remember that our freedom is inextricably linked. So I'm very proud to join Waltrina, the Community Renewal Society, all the partners that are part of Truth, Racial Healing, and Transformation to come together to make freedom a reality for everyone. And we're doing this by developing and creating principles of solidarity. And these are principles that do three things. And one is that we are focusing on repairing our relationships. That we know in order for us to be able to come together, we have to root out the pain and the theft that white sellers and racism have left in our spirit and in our body. And we need to root out that trauma so we could be fully human. We also need to commit to act collectively. When one Black body is hurt, we all must come and rally about it. We must be able to come together collectively, not only to fight against something, but to build our neighborhoods and our community together. And the other point is that there is space for white people to be able to join this fight and to be in solidarity. And the ask to you is that you need to be able to create a culture that's about always being vigilant of racist behavior and being anti-racist, so that the culture that you create is not one of niceties and it's not one of appeasement, but is one of always standing guard and being in solidarity with Black and brown people. So we are here today. We are going to be joined by people that are speaking truth And this is the way in which we are going to transform Chicago. And I am extremely proud and extremely happy that we are going to be able to introduce the music of freedom. And unfortunately, Booyah is not going to be able to join us today, but we have an incredible group of musicians, freedom fighters, the Peace Poets, who are collective that are based in New York, who are artists that are grounded in community. These are artists that are grounded in knowing that the personal narrative is what changes the world. And these are artists that are grounded in our collective freedom. Thank you.
And thank you. And before the Peace Poets come before us, we want to welcome our sister Sadira Muhammad, who will bring an offering of ancestral dance.
Shalom, Winnie, Winnie, mi be my answer, afifi, jeje, efufu, leje, yawa, oyao, ashe, iba, oya. Ashalaya, Ashaloru, Winnie, Winnie, Libe, my answer, Happy Sheshe, Efufu, Leje, Yawa, Oya, Ashe, Iba. Ajalaya, Ajalaru, Winnie, Winnie, mi be my answer, afifi, jeje, efufu, leje, yawa, oyao, ashe, iba. Ajalaya, Ajaloru, Winnie, Winnie, Libe, my answer, Happy Sheshe, Efufu, Leje, Yawa, Oya, Ashe, Ajalaya, Ajaloru, Winnie, Winnie, Libe, my answer, Happy Sheshe, Efufu, Leje, Yawa, Oya, Ashe, Yawa. Oya de, oya. Oya de, oh. Oya de, oya. Get me. Oya de, oya. Oya de, oh. 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 Thank you, everyone. That was in tribute to our deity, Santeria religion, based in our foregrounds of Nigeria and Cuba. Oya has come in this plight of freedom to stir the storm, to stir the mood, and to release freedom. Ashe. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, dear sister Sadir Muhammad. Thank you so much for that beautiful dance and those words. Also, thank you, Rico, for that beautiful introduction of our group. Again, we are the Peace Poets. My name is Lumi. I'm joined here by the last MC, as well as Ram 3. And we are coming at you from the Boogie Down Bronx. That's Lenape territory over here in so-called New York. And it's such a pleasure to be here with y'all on today, Juneteenth, celebrating Black liberation, our collective liberation at that. And so, family, I need you, wherever you are, to join me in saying, when I say people, y'all say power. People.
Power.
People. That's right. When I say we want, y'all say justice. We want.
Justice.
We want.
Justice.
When I say we are, y'all say beautiful. We are.
Beautiful.
We are.
Beautiful.
And when I say we are, y'all say rising. We are. We are.
I say peace to the poets who propagate peace, who have to protect life because war is a beast and the war in the streets have got the poor in a leash. Right now, there are people dying to eat. But like Zapata, we don't live on our knees. We die on our feet. We riot the streets. We don't sit down and complain. We are people of action. What we do is fighting for change. We represent peace because it's so critical. We represent peace because the soul spiritual. I say peace to the Be the Change movement. Movers in the front and the people who ain't moved yet. Don't forget, change is pursuant. Don't forget, chains take time to loosen. Don't forget, Malcolm X was a truant. I say peace because I've lost so many to violence, and I speak peace because I've lost many more to silence.
So I say peace to the poets who propagate peace, who keep it really real, no props in their piece. I'm looking to change the world and for props in these streets. Spit rhymes in the face of war, hurricanes, and police. Believe me, it's still not easy to speak when the powers that be disagree with your speech. But we have to give back to the places that made us. We got to show respect to the elders who shaped us. We have to lend direction to the youth to replace us and teach them love and compassion in a country that hates us.
So I say peace to the poets who propagate peace, from the west side, baby, down south to the east. Rocking hard for your pops, mom's nephew and niece. Doing this out of love, because war is a beast. I say peace to the poets behind their bars like a convict. People thinking peace is the absence of conflict. It's really the ability to cope with it, to deal with it, to cry with it, to hope with it. We spit for all ages, grad school to third graders, in a mosque, in a church, from baptisms to seders. We spit to uplift the gift the Creator gave us, the power of the word, because we heard it might save us. So we say peace to the poets who propagate peace, and power to the people who march in these streets. Word to the workers who walk in bare feet, and light to the writers who fight to get free. I see me in you and you in me. In the streets of Cochabamba, taking back El Agua. Rocking Sandinista parties when they took Managua. Shook my fist in Nueva York, yelling no a la guerra. Environmentalists to protect la tierra. And I'm a feminist, respeto mi madre. Soy padre y bebé, the struggle of every day. Abuelita y ajita, soy la gente que grita. El pueblo unido jamás será vencido. Because I'm the people united and I will never be divided. I'm the people who riot and I will never be quiet. I'm the ones who rebel for those stuck in a cell. I'm the people who see we are not yet free. Because I am the people and the people are me. Peace.
Thank you, brothers. Thank you all in attendance. This country had my mother's womb in the crosshairs. Like a line in the sand, black man, you can't cross here. Feel like I've been staring down the barrel. Feeling fresh as hell with my skin as my apparel. But it's hard to see my black pride through this American apparel. A wolf in sheepskin, I keep this anger in my marrow. Family from that crooked letter, I fly straight as an arrow. God's children hung from trees, so they eyes on the sparrow. But black life is geometry. You gotta learn the angles. I've been racing for my race, but kept a step behind the Anglo. Twice the work and no credit, trying to amplify my bankroll. But just to make rent, my back bent like an ankle. Watch me turn the strife into stripes like a bangle. And ride around reckless like a teen in a rental. If there was blood on the leaves, there is red on some green. And that's been dripping from my pen and flooding my instrumentals, so I don't rap no more, I play Ouija. With the souls of black folk who sacrifice life to free me. So possession takes place between the kick and the bass. Can't see connections I make. For heaven's sake, I'm Stevie, but wonder what keeps me from going under. It's the 80s baby hustle. Newspaper and a squeegee. All I do is make it dirty even when I think it's squeaky. Got poverty in my pocket. See how they see me on TV? Disrespect the way they present my residency. And then the more things change, then the more they stayed the same. So sometimes I resent Obama's presidency. But before we get our unmentionables in a tizzy, before my beautiful people line up against me, remember who your friends is and know your enemies be. I kick it to the block, rock, shock, AC/DC. I feel like KRS mixed with WEB, Du Bois with my boys, like Heavy D on a CD. But that strange fruit, painful, and God is acting silly. That strange fruit, painful, like Nina singing Billy. Got an angel on my back and wings spread across my city. Because all of this and all of us are Black history in action. This here is the celebration. You hear the horns like a black college band graduation. If my head nods to a beat, that's their meditation. Audience response to me is medication, a vaccine for the whack gene, and I make the outfit look good like some black jeans. A rap fiend without fear is my designation. I rhyme like those rebel tribes, no reservation. Slap box with the devil, no hesitation. No pulling punches, throwing combos in bunches, giving foes concussions. Ain't no mercy, no talking, no more parlay negotiations. But this is how we act since they ignore reparations. Some Tuck D on the mic boycotting radio stations. Hip hop is that religion, I'm repping it like a nation. That's peace, love, unity, cultural innovation. Even though they made us broke and tried to hang us off of ropes, we still make something out of Nathan. And how do we do that? It's easy. If there's black blood on the leaves, there's black blood in the trees. We in every breath they take, any piece of fruit they ever ate. I know chains take time to break, but we ain't waiting no more, are we? Because then it'd be too late. Peace, y'all.
Thank y'all so much, family. Right now, we have the pleasure and the opportunity to pass it to two amazing elder community scholars, Dr. Linda Thomas and Claudia Villacova. Thank y'all for that love in the chat. We're about to get it in with a shared history of resilience.
Thank you, my brothers. Dr. Thomas.
My sister, it's good to be with you.
It's good to be with you. Good to hear your voice.
So where shall we begin?
Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking. Where should we begin? I remember my grandmother always saying, you begin in the middle. And
Okay.
the middle is now.
Well, I want to begin by acknowledging the First Nation people.
Thank you.
That you represent and on whose land that I am standing right now. In Chicago, the Iroquois people were here in this land, and as far as I'm concerned, outside of African Americans, every other person is an immigrant because the First Nation people were here, and a tragic history, most tragic under Andrew Johnson. Yes. And President Andrew Johnson. And I just want to begin by saying people of African descent see First Nation people. And we are so close because both of us have a special bond, I think. And it is the history that this country has not taught us that yes. We need to share with each other, because once we do, we will see that we are the same.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Thomas.
So I want to begin with that.
Yes, I feel your words, and I am gratitude. I also want to acknowledge the First Nations of which we stand, the land of which we stand. And although this land was appropriated and stolen from them, I want to recognize that they still, their spirit, their soul, and their culture still is on this land, and they still are of this land, and this is their land. And that our connection to our ancestral roots, you're right, we're all one. It all goes back to our native roots. We all come from a tribe, and we go back and remembering what those original instructions were, and that we're one family will help us be able to come together, see our brothers and sisters as our one family, and unite together in solidarity to heal the trauma, rise, and be the ones we've been waiting for to liberate ourselves.
You know, both of us have water in the background.
And,
that's important because of the sacredness
yes.
of water. And
yes.
For those who came before us today, and to the sister who talked about those who gave up their lives to the sea, decided
Yes.
that they would not put their feet on a land that was foreign to them when they had been torn away from their own. I want to begin with that history. I also want to say that the land and place of First Nation people were here long before 1492,
Yes.
when the invasion
Yes.
of this land began. And I also like to think about the years between 1492 and 1619.
Yes.
That for me is key, as 1619 is when the first African indentured servants and enslaved landed in Jamestown, Virginia.
Yes.
In those 127 years, we see settlers interrupting the lives of First Nation people, taking their land, and then in 1619, stealing people from Africa to come here for the production of the economy of the colonies. And I think in those 127 years, we really see the foundation of what we have going on here today. We have the source for the knowledge that has come from the poetry that we have heard, from the dance that we have heard.
Yes.
And so, yes, we are strong.
Yes.
We connect these histories. And so I think 1492 is not a beginning.
No.
It was a middle.
Yes.
It was a middle.
Yes. And the story is still unfolding.
That's right. That's right. And so we claim our heritage. And I want to begin that this Liberation Day with all of the strength and power that I've heard today is just blowing me away.
Yes.
Blowing me away
Yes.
as we join together. And so I want to thank, Trina and all the organizers. You know, I got to sit back for a long time and take it all in. And I was crying.
Yeah.
When all of those names of the brothers and sisters who've been murdered by the police, and then the names before that, I kept thinking about those who lost their lives in the invasion,
Yes.
and those who lost their lives from 1619. It's the same names. It's the same terror. It's the same ugliness.
Yes.
It's the same, and it's not, it's white culture that's been passed on through the lineage of white people. That is the problem. And I call it an addiction that goes uninterrupted.
Yes. I mean, I think, you know, it calls to question, right? Why? What happens for a body, anybody, but in particular, because we are in a dominant white culture time in history, that can sit and dine in a restaurant knowing that they have Black and brown people serving them, sometimes brown people who are being paid less than minimum wage, or that the people that are taking care of them do not have legal rights. They are considered non-human by the government, or that education is not accessible, or that living in safe neighborhoods and their schooling situation is dire because money is just not, it's not important to send it there. And what happens, you know, that a body cannot feel that humanity, that they can't stand and rise and decide to not buy at the restaurants that do not take care of their staff, of our Black and brown people. It's a recognition that this country's economy completely rests on Black and brown backs. We're holding this country together. and it's enough. And so we are carrying the story. It's a repetition of this sense of greed, of what I call, you're talking about addiction, I call it this constant need to feed. They're constantly wanting to consume. And I want to say to them, you know, and of course, you know, I'm generalizing there, you know, but I want to say to them that that hunger, it's because you need to return to your ancestors, your rituals. You don't need to consume our culture. You do not need to appropriate our rituals, our ceremonies, our food, our clothing, our style. Go deep and find your own roots and look at yourself. They need to be allies. They need to call out the behaviors that happen when we're in these social spaces. And so the stories that, you know, the culture that we're carrying in our Black and brown bodies of being in spaces where our bodies do not feel safe continue to affect us. And so they need to be aware of that. And I do think that there's a time, that is the time for them to take back and give us some space and maybe just listen for another 500 years. You know, they've silenced us for over 500 years, and now it's their turn to listen to us. And we have a lot to say, and obviously we have a lot to share. We have rich culture and history and poetry and dance and music, and together in solidarity, we can heal all our bodies so that when we see injustice, we are moved to action in that moment, not 5 days later when you process, but in that moment that we are moved and we say no, that we are willing to give, and not, you know, not only if it doesn't affect the financial situation where my child can go to college, and then if I have some extra, I'll help the Black Lives Matter movement, or I'll make changes in legislation so that the brown peoples who are putting the food on their table, who are in the fields, have a better, it cannot be that way. It has to be equal.
I agree with what you say. I just want to amplify what you're saying. I tend not to talk about white people. I like to talk about the historically dominant group in this country.
Right.
Or I call it white culture.
Right.
And part of it that white culture requires that they see people in pain.
Right.
So that when Mr. Floyd was murdered, everyone, because we're all human, could feel some pain.
Yes.
And it is out of that we then got the demonstrations in the street.
Right.
I like to say that this virus that we have, it may be COVID-19, but as my pastor, Otis Moss III, said recently, the virus is COVID-16-19. And I would say COVID pre-1492, that a virus invaded this land, literally, because First Nation people got the diseases of the Europeans who came. So if we can help, can move from this individualism that white culture has, to see the power of a group, that's the issue. It is the power that the historically dominant group has that don't see us. Now individuals in their individual homes could see Mr. Floyd. And then, now the heart gets involved. And for a moment, we have people concerned. But the economy is always going to be the thing that wins. As we see with the meat packing industry, it is brown bodies that must go into their warehouses that are run over with the virus and work.
Yes.
Because US Americans must have meat. This is the time for us to be vegan.
Yes, yes, yes.
We don't have to have meat if it means that brown and black bodies, but especially Latinx bodies, are going to be at risk. And so what's hidden is the toll that this takes. It was only when the mayor of Chicago began to talk about the number of Black people who had died here that people began to say, it's hitting the Black and brown community in ways that it's like, people are dying. And Washington could care less. So even though, people say it's okay to go out, I do not go out because I don't believe it. And I'm not too interested in a vaccine. I want to see who's going to take the vaccine first.
Well, yes, and I think that, as you said earlier, and thank you for the clarification about, yes, I'm speaking of white culture, not all white people in general. Thank you for that, Dr. Thomas. But that, like you said earlier, recognizing that Black and brown people, we have the power in numbers, right? We're no longer enslaved. We have to liberate ourselves. And if we come together and we plan and we activate, we join the Black Lives Matter movement together, as we heal our bodies and feel our waters, our emotional bodies, recognizing that from water we come from, that is our life, that is our mother, working and healing the body, we can activate ourselves, unite, and bring change, educate our children, make sure that the inner conversation is about love, a return to a radical love of truth telling, of no gaslighting, of honoring. My sacred masculine needs to honor the sacred feminine, give her back her position of power and ability to speak her truth and live freely in her body without fear and risk of violence. And so as we work internally in our communities and return to a space of love and heal our bodies and connect in the sacred hoop with all our tribes, remembering the responsibility of sacred water within and without, we can bring change together and change the dominant culture. And we ask that we do this in part, with truth, racial healing and transformation. We're calling in sacred circles everywhere. We're asking everyone to join us to return back to our ancestral roots, our ancestral practices, and remember and pray together how to heal from the inside so that our voice is amplified and we shine out. And change is inevitable. The change is here. It's a matter of, can we see it? Can we feel it? Can we smell it? Can we taste it? Can we hear it? Can we touch it? And then we got to bring our bodies into that space and make it happen. And I out of respect for time, Dr. Thomas, is there anything else you want to say before that we wrap it up?
Of course. Well, let me just close with this. Yes. I wear around my neck two things. One is Sojourner Truth. And I want to say to everyone, please find that the ancestor and do the Sankofa. Go back and fetch the person in your family or the person in history that stands for you. This is a gift from one of my First Nation friends named Vance Black Fox. When I was sick, he put this around my neck for healing. I just want to say that both of these together make my life complete, along with my guidance by God and Spirit. So thank you. I could certainly say more, but I will close.
And I want to call again, both my sister and I, coincidence, not coincidence, so we have water in the background, want to call in the spirits of the waters, the four winds, the fires, the air, that we breathe. And I want to say to my Latinx family, my mestizo family, my brown brothers and sisters, join us. La lucha sigue. La lucha de la familia negra es nuestra lucha. Es nuestra liberación también que está aquí, llamándonos a despertar, a sanar, a cantar, a gritar, a bailar. And together nos vamos a liberar. La familia. Y ahora, I need my phone. And now, I would love to introduce the music of freedom, the Peace Poets, and the collective of Outside. Just Peace Poets. Ha ha ha. Can you tell this is my first time? All right, everybody. I love you. Thank you for listening.
Love you.
Peace Poets.
Peace, family. So, continuing with the energy and honoring our ancestors and honoring our elders, this poem was inspired by the words of one very powerful ancestor. His name is Frederick Douglass, and one of the most powerful statements that he penned many, many years ago rings true today and continues to guide us, which is that power concedes nothing without demand. And we see that being embodied in the spirit of all the people taking up to the streets in this uprising and in all the uprisings. And in particularly, I want to honor the young people who have been the fire and the flame, continuing to inspire us. Power concedes nothing without demand. That means you're gonna get your freedom from your very own hands, because the man at the top is deaf to your plight. He's got nightmares of when the people unite. Labor, it's not just a name to me. It's why Americans invested in slavery. These capers led to hundreds of years of free labor that we paid for while they were stacking that free paper. Freedom through blood, bone, sweat, and soot. Because when you sow all season, you want a piece of that fruit. Truth, this is my way to honor it. Freedom happens because of liberation movements, not a serendipitous change of consciousness. And what is freedom, if not the right to work? Our right to work the angles and right what hurts. Power concedes nothing without force of will. Don't believe me? Ask the workers who were coerced and killed. At Haymarket Square, workers were hurt at will, all for a few more freedoms to work a drill. Such a novel idea, to work then chill. The bourgeoisie are afraid of what time reveals. The truth is they don't own anything. They steal. Because when a worker spends their life constructing, who owns the steel? Traded in their life for a few measly meals while they intimidate unions for a few measly deals. We must see the forces. That's why they keep blinders on horses. Power concedes nothing if you ask it a favor. Don't believe me? It took a movement to regulate child labor. Still becoming the country that we're yearning to be. Just in '93 got unpaid maternity leave. Everything has a history. 40-hour work week, vacation, sick days. You're taking off work. That's why they enslaved. And I still see the current schism, because slavery still exists. It exists in prison. If freedom isn't tied to the way we make a living, then we construct our own hell in which we live in. Power concedes nothing. If you want, it's pity. When was the last time we ate out in the city? Who do they keep exploited in the back of the kitchen? those who they pay below minimum wage for a living. America's dirty secret. We hate immigrants, but love their cheap labor. Our economic policies force them out their countries, but we ask them for green papers. Our fear is that the next stop is transforming the world into a global sweatshop. Power concedes nothing without demand, and if you don't keep your rights by your fist, they just might fall out your hands.
Thank you, my brother. Want to thank everyone who has spoken, who has shared tonight. If you're just tuning in right now, you are in for some medicine, some wisdom. People are dropping gems all over, and I hope you're picking them up. I want to do a song for y'all, and I want you to sing with me. So I'm going to teach you the words, right? And that's okay if I can't hear you. I'm going to feel you. I'm going to feel you singing with me. It goes like this. The words go like this. Oye, mi gente, traemos la fuerza. We're going to flex our Spanglish muscles tonight. Oye, mi gente, traemos la fuerza. That means, listen up, my people. We bring the strength. La libertad es mi única bandera. Liberation for all is my only flag. Rise up, my people, my condors, my eagles. And that's speaking to the indigenous prophecy of the condor and the eagle coming together, uniting. And we saw that at Standing Rock. We're seeing that everywhere across Turtle Island and the so-called Americas and the world. And the last line goes like this. No human being will ever be illegal. Say that, family. Yes, I heard y'all. So sing it with me. The melody goes like this. Oye, mi gente, traemos la fuerza. La libertad es mi única bandera. Rise up, my people, my condors, my eagles. No human being will ever be illegal. That sounds beautiful. Oye, mi gente, traemos la fuerza, la libertad es mi única bandera. Rise up, my people, my condors, my eagles. No human being will ever be illegal. Hay una sola raza, familia humana. La Pachamama canta, yo escucho sus palabras. Ella dice, basta, no a las matanzas. Cálmense mis hijos, piensen en mañana. La esperanza vive en los ojos de chiquitos. Otro mundo es posible. Ya está escrito. Like the San Patricios fighting for the Mexicans. What's a flag? Freedom what I represent. Que el pueblo se levante. Dignidad para todos en este instante. Ni bobo ni ciego veo el elefante. Por eso pa'lante. Siempre pa'lante. Forward with no fear of a border. We know racism is a disorder. Slave master up on the corner leading us to the slaughter, but calling someone illegal is as stupid as owning water. So we say, oye, mi gente, traemos la fuerza. La libertad es mi única bandera. Rise up, my people, my condors, my eagles. No human being will ever be illegal. Rise up, my people, my condors, my eagles. No human being will ever be illegal. Hey, thank y'all for singing with us, family. So right now, I have the pleasure of passing it over to Gochi, who's gonna bless us with another heart drum, followed by our youthful dialogue between Terrence Pruitt and Dorian Ortega. All right.
Just want to let our Pilar know that the sound is off. Your sound is off, Pilar. Now we can. Now we can.
Now you can? Okay. Should we do an encore?
Yes, yes.
Please, girl, bring the talking drum.
Sister, I'm sorry, if you can move to the other mic. Try the other mic. Thank you everyone for your patience. Welcome to our virtual world. I'm thinking it's coming in and out. Maybe back up a little bit away from the mic. Merch, the sound is
Seven.
There you go. We heard that. Try it again. I don't know what's going on. Can you hear me? I can hear you, but okay, go ahead. I don't know. It's going in and out. We can hear the talking, but the drum is going in. We can't hear the drum consistently. Someone is suggesting try moving the mic further back from the drum. Thank you everyone for your patience.
We who believe in freedom cannot rest.
Yeah.
Ooh, we who believe in freedom cannot rest until it comes. We who believe in freedom cannot rest. Ooh, we who believe in freedom cannot rest until it comes. Until the killing of black men, black mothers, sons, is as important as the killing of white men, white mother, sons. We who believe in freedom cannot rest. Ooh, we who believe in freedom cannot rest until it comes.
Peace, everybody. Hoping that you can hear me.
Hear me?
We can hear
I can hear you, Dorian.
Oh.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you, Ugochi, for that attempt at unifying us with that drum, and also thank you for blessing us with that song. We appreciate you. My name is Terrence Pruitt. I am so grateful to be in this space with all of you in solidarity, in recognition of Juneteenth and this glorious occasion that's centered in liberation. And I'm joined by my partner in liberation today, Dorian. Peace, Dorian. How you feeling?
Thank you for introducing me. Thank you all for having this beautiful event, and thank you for Trina for inviting this and coordinate this with Truth Racial Healing Circles. It's beautiful to be a part of this space. My name is Dorian Ortega, and I'm excited. I'm pumped. I feel the energy, and I'm just really feeling the love here, and so I'm feeling love.
I'm with that. I want to give honor and love to the elders. Peace to Claudia. Peace to Dr. Thomas. I enjoyed the conversation calling out white culture and recognizing how we've been impacted and how we've been harmed, the space, our earth, our relationship, and also connecting our histories. And so we get to continue that conversation. Dorian and I, we're millennials, so we are the bridge between our elders and the youth that you see that are leading us now out in the streets, that are a part of this uprising and are leading us forward. And so one of the things that we really want to talk about is what's needed for those youth. And the easiest way for us to talk about that is to talk about the practice of what we do. And so I know that Dorian is a healer, and the work that I do with my company, Project Restore Initiative, it addresses structural violence, and it does so through healing-centered engagement, creating spaces for youth and our communities to heal and to have access to those ideologies and concepts that can continue them to be fully human and to access their humanity and their value and their light and their purpose in a way that can't be stamped out by some oppressive system. Another work that we do is about mitigating further risk by making sure that our allies and those that serve our youth and serve each other, serve Black and brown bodies, that they have the tools and skills necessary to do that the right way and do that in a way that affirms humanity and affirms identity. And so one of the things that I loved about what I've been hearing all day is it's been centered in healing. And it's been centered in healing through knowledge, through knowing who you are, from where you came, by honoring our ancestors. When Dr. Thomas talked about us going back and getting it and finding that ancestor that gives us our shining light, that really touched me. And so I'm grateful to be a part of this conversation. What have you heard, Dorian? What are you feeling? How are you hearing healing echoing through what you've heard so far?
Thank you. I want to also honor the elders who spoke, everyone who spoke. I want to also share that this is just so beautiful, sharing space in solidarity. I will share a little bit about myself. I'm a Boricua here in Chicago, and I just started a private practice. I'm a licensed clinical counselor and started a private practice this year called Fly Radical Therapy. And FLY stands for First Love Yourself. And radically in the sense of understanding how oppressive systems have impacted our mental well-being. And so part of first loving yourself is essentially how you protect yourself, how you continue to survive as a Black and brown body. And the idea of this healing approach is to hold accountable systems that have been in place that perpetuated generational cycles of unhealthy behavior or unhealthy attitudes. And so part of that work is in a brave way for folks to work on their healing in community. So I also co-founded Healing Jodonas, which is a monthly healing poetry circle. And Healing Jodonas, Jodona stands for, or is a Spanish word that many Puerto Ricans use to describe the agitators of the community. The ones who really call things out, who could be considered annoying. And so we utilize that word to empower how it is that us as people of color, of Black, Indigenous descent, are able to really utilize our inner strengths, our ancestral power, to heal and create space for each other. And so every month when we meet, we utilize a word with the prefix re in it. And the intention is to hold space for a short amount of time and process what that word really means, to come back to yourself and to come out with a beautiful piece, and share it in bravery with each other, and create a collective compassionate space for our feelings. And so that is part of the work that I do, and I help create with community, with folks who are activists and folks who are leading and doing solidarity and activism work in here in Chicago. And when I do that work all under an umbrella of cohort called the Honeycomb Network, which is also something we started this year, a safe space for folks to come and co-create and collaborate and create beauty in the way that we honor ourselves, and how we highlight our beauty and share it with each other, and how we also charge each other to continue to move forward in this movement with sustainability and self-preservation.
I'm so honored that that they put us together, because there's so many parts of our work that is kind of married together. This recognition that not only do we need to create spaces where people can heal, we need to give them the opportunities and the practices, the clinical practices, to support them through that process of healing. And then we need to address those systems that have created the structural violence to make sure that we can mitigate further risk. And I think that is so cool that they connected us. And one thing that really is on my heart, just hearing everything that's happened today, is just a reminder that as we celebrate the liberation of Black people, and we celebrate the liberation of Black human beings, right? Because I think that's what we kind of miss. And I'm so glad that Dr. Thomas talked about it. Like, this was stealing human beings so that you could build an economy, and commodifying and dehumanizing those human beings. And so it's really about us getting back to that core of us being human, and remembering that when we were born, when we transferred from the eternal to the time, we came with three things. We came with our light, we came with our value, and we came with our purpose. And we came with those things in our satchel of love for this very moment. And so it's so appropriate that you and I, we stand between generations for this very moment. And I'm proud to be in the work with you, and I'm proud that you're in solidarity with me as I celebrate the liberty of my ancestors and the liberty of our continued liberty. That is not just about recognizing what happened on 1865 when they found out in Galveston, Texas, but it's about continuing to figure out who hasn't found out we're free yet. And that's the thing. Like, in Texas, they hadn't found out they were free yet. And so it's time for us to figure out, where have they not found out we're free? Have they not found out that Black women's bodies are free? Have they not found out we're free in the boardroom? Have they not found out we're free in the street? And anywhere they have not found out, it's our work in solidarity to let them know we've already been freed and continue to work in that freedom. So I think it's dope that we got the whole space together, and to be the youthful voices. How you feeling about that?
I love that. And love, and I want to add on to this, is that not to free ourselves, and we have always been responsible for that, but also, you know, how it is that we're managing and dealing with the after effects of the impact that what was mentioned before of whiteness, what whiteness has done to our country, and how it has impacted the way that folks of color feel about themselves, and how important it is to call out the pathology of racism. And that is important to discuss, as well as the trauma that people of color have and will and continue to deal with. As we heal from those wounds, we also need to hold accountable the oppressive spaces and the social pathology that is racism and whiteness.
And can I add one last thing, Dorian, to that, for any of those people that happen to be considered white that might be watching, I think it's important, not that we guard them from the discomfort, because we've been uncomfortable for a pretty long time, but that we make something clear, that addressing whiteness is not a calling out, it's a beckoning to them to reclaim their own humanity, because white supremacy dehumanizes us all. When Claudia was talking about what kind of person or what body can sit there knowing that someone else is being harmed by structural violence and continue to do it, it's someone that has lost their humanity along the way. So it's not only calling that we be seen in the dignity of our humanity as a Black body or as a Boricua sister, it's also that they begin to reattach themselves to their humanity and recognize that white supremacy destroys the humanity of us all. And I think that's where we're going to find true solidarity that's not just built on niceties or not built on us sending an email about how our company supports Black lives, but how we can actually do the work to make sure that we all are free and that we continue to be free and fully human.
Thank you. Thank you for that. And I would just add how we are mixed and we are all really embody the essence of what colonialism is. And we live is our apparel, as was mentioned before by the poets, peace poets, our skin is our apparel. And so we represent and embody what colonialism looked like and how it's evolved. And so whiteness is just as apparent as the United States, and so it is important for that whiteness exists within our own communities and that anti-Blackness sentiments exist within our own communities, and we need to also, you know, ourselves and our families accountable as well for some of them to cycle through. And so I love this work that we all continue to do, and I hope that some of the spaces and folks who are listening could step up and hold space for those uncomfortable conversations that need to be had, that we've been crying out and yelling out for years.
Indeed,
so
indeed.
I think we are supposed to introduce Peace Poets again.
Indeed, I think we are.
Okay, bet. So thank you again. Please continue to bless us with your beautiful words. And now we will pass the mic back to Peace Poets.
Peace, y'all.
Peace, peace, peace. Blessings. Grateful for that conversation. Inspires in so many ways to hear those words. It's interesting to hear those words come outside of your own your own body and hear someone else say it. Is very grounding. I very much appreciate the conversation, and it very much segues into this piece I want to share with y'all right now. Grateful to be here with my brothers, the last MC, Lumi. Bless y'all. I want to give a shout out to Luaya and ABE, the other two members of the Peace Poets, out there doing the work, living the life. Thinking about y'all. This piece is called The Paradox of Black Nativity. Speaks a lot to how I exist in the world, and here it is. My body is a parallel universe. I was never a part of the world that existed, not in any real way. Never felt love, couldn't afford power, never held any real sway. They decided they don't want no devils in their house. So they prepped the new world with an exorcism. They knew all he had was the sun and God, sun gods. They took that, left him with fear of having black sons and the son of God, and left nothing else in him. I learned that true grace requires being two-faced. No devils in their house, no reminders in their face, no second chances, no fallen angels on display. with shiny black wingspans that reflect their contradictions. You made me through means that make me do things you hate to see you in me. You and me were bound to be. And this is the paradox of Black nativity. I will always belong where I don't belong. That was the plan all along. They saw me eating near their Eden, so now it won't be long. But remember, my inhuman drive was born of your unholy drought. Remember, you issued the invitation. The next time you decide you don't want no devils in your house. Thank you. Peace. Passing it off to my bro.
Thank you for that, brother. So necessary to hear that in this moment in history. I want to raise up where we're coming from. We're representing the Bronx right now, and representing the beautiful culture, the love, the celebration, the joy, the music, the pain, the sorrow that lives, that transcends in this place, and that has echoed throughout the whole world. And so I want to dedicate this to hip hop. It started in adolescence, obsession with an expression, a penchant for exploring tension, the poor's intervention, the hood's own convention, an Afro invention, Tainos get mentioned. The Caribbean is mixed through oppression. Hate your black blood was their lesson. I know, cause DR has yet to love reflection. But hip hop took me to session. Peeking at our history, I gleaned our progression. I crafted into perfection, crafted into profession. Point, this wasn't an accident. New York Pan-Africans declaring we back again, hip hop is happening. We went from cracked out to rehab to detox. Now we buy juices from D-Block. You know how we rock? Took away the drum, started fucking with the beatbox, cut like a tomahawk. Seen a drummer call Yemaya with the Yamaha. Bass player Bride in Allah. DJ sample Amin Ra. And the MC brought the prophecy. Hip hop is the soul of my philosophy. I'm a poet from the school of hip hop. Philosophizing, sipping coffee on the block. Say a prayer for those murdered by the cops. If you ain't seeking knowledge yourself, kick rocks. I'm a poet from the school of hip hop. Philosophizing, sipping coffee on the block. Say a prayer for those locked in a box. If you ain't seeking knowledge yourself. If you're awake, you know that we're between life and death. Gotta choose your highest self, can't live with regret. Let every stumble plant a seed for 100 steps. Working out the trauma, we do 100 reps before the sun is set. When you walk in the light, you gotta speak with death, then you value every breath and can figure out conditions that you won't accept. Death to the ego, there is plenty to protect. Say it with your life before you say it with your chest. Let's not avoid accidents, then catch a wreck. Cause a road rage and misdirected disrespect. A true MC lives the basic elements of the vibration that pounded the Bronx settlements. That's peace, love, and unity. And if we gotta fight, we fighting for our community. Music a reminder that it's bigger than just you and me. Combine that with our story and philosophy. That's a true MC, like the ones that reach me. That Black Star CD, Most Def and Quali. That's sound bombing and let's get free. It's the school of hip hop, Lauryn Hill taught me. I learned at the feet of our poetry. Set my name at the fire so they know it's me. It's the last MC. I'm a griot from the school of hip hop. Philosophizing, sipping coffee on the block. Say a prayer for those murdered by the cops. If you ain't seeking knowledge yourself, kick rocks. I'm a poet from the school of hip hop. Philosophizing, sipping coffee on the block. Say a prayer for those locked in a box. If you ain't seeking knowledge yourself. Thank you.
Yes. Ooh, thank you for that medicine. Thank you for that medicine, Last MC. Thank you, brother Ram 3, for blessing us with that as well. Um, we are artists, and we are also artist educators, and we have the privilege, really, of being able to be in classrooms, workshops, um, across New York City, across Turtle Island, working with young people, speaking their minds, speaking their hearts. And recently, a community of folks reached out and wanted to do a creative writing session together, um, where their young people could have some time to reflect on what's happening right now. I got 3 little nieces. Actually, while Terrence and Dorian were dropping gems and speaking, um, she came to the door and she said that she wrote a song for today, and it's a beautiful thing. Education at home, and that's where it starts. And I had this session with some young people where we got to do some writing, and I was giving them some prompts. And this is something that I myself crafted during that time, gifting myself some time of reflection. It goes like this. Behind these walls are the layers of heart untouched, unseen. Cries of please God, inshallah, and ameen. Tears churned like cream, light beams like church, prayers unheard, or so it seems. So far, I've learned that sometimes we are not all on the same team. That my want to call that person brother is at times selfish and naive. So far, I've learned that we are family, in fact, and yes, indeed, but that relying on my bloodline is not always what I need. Remind me that I came into this world crying, tears as a sign of life, singing strife without care of who was watching, who was judging. Remind me that my cries were met with wonder and jubilation, that I was tied to my mother before I was tied to a flag or to a nation. If I opened the door, would you sit and have a cup of tea? Would you like sugar in your cafe? Would you share a song and some reprieve? I was carried by the wind, by the sand, and by the sea. Now I carry the reminders that they once carried me, and that the weight of the world is relative to all our relatives becoming free. I remember that this journey is sacred, that the scars of still not knowing are remarkable and glowing, that we are hiding and we're showing what a world we could become. I remember what is sacred about this place that we've come from. I remember we are growing, that we still have ways to go. I remember every day. Until that day, we've always known that change gonna come. So I am not afraid. No, I am not afraid. I will live for liberation, 'cause I know why I was made. I am not afraid. No, I am not afraid. I will live for liberation, 'cause I know why I was made. Peace.
Oh man, thank you for that, Frankie. This is all very grounding. I'm so grateful to be here, grateful to be in attendance, grateful to be among so many minds. We have been in a challenging and pressing time. I've almost cried several times throughout this, just throughout this show alone. And my brother, Last MC, blessed me and sent me a song while I was, he may not know, but I was in my bedroom just kind of sitting up super late at night, stressed out. He sent me a whole rough recording, and it just literally refilled my well. And to pay respects to that, I wrote this back to it. It was where I was, and it's kind of where we are now. And I just want to big up my bro, Last MC, for always lighting the fire. My mother prayed to God. I sat back and secretly peeped the karma. Because now can't nobody breathe. My whole city is Eric Garner. My chest heaving just from picking the pen up. A king with no crown, I still struggle to lift my head up. Then I remember why it's heavy. Because politicians rather save Goldman Sachs and Chevy. When Katrina was killing blacks and busting levees, nobody could get their bread up. So now I'm sipping spirits with Legba, chatting the dead up. Ancestors whisper, remember what the mission is. Forget what competition is. Isolate the vibration, harmonize the dissonance. The wisdom of history changed the way I see. So poverty's another POV. So quarantine is really R&D. I'm Lucius Fox in a 3-piece, crafting tools to give the youth like they the last Waynes in Gotham. They be looking like the last days. Cause Metropolis just drone shot their mass graves. Look, you can see my city breathing. But put your ear to the streets and you can hear my city wheezing. Peace. Thanks, gratitude. Thanks, E.
Yes, thank you for that, brother.
Thank you, Ram. Right now, brothers, we're gonna pass it to Sister Pilar, and we'll be back in a little bit. Thank y'all so much for lending us your ears, lending us your hearts. Much love, and we're passing it to Sister Pilar.
Thank you. Thank you. Can y'all hear me? All right.
Yes.
My hair told the story of my soul, rebellious, resistant, ancient. My elders tried to brush it, press it, grease it into humble submission, but my hair is strong, like a song in C major. You can't tame my hair. Why you trying to control it, mold it, sell it, gel it? No. My hair is hot like fire, barbed wire, black man's desire. Highest frequency, isn't she lovely? Twisted knots like a plot, thickened like brown gravy on chicken. I'm savory and you're smitten, bitten by the beautiful naps in my kitchen. Locks glisten like the new moon risen, black Jesus, black ocean, magic potion. Lavender lotion, part hair with emotion. Red Sea unity, black fist in air like pick in hair goody. Soft sheen, black queen, mad bling. Plain gold rings, like the ones on the fingers of ancient African queens. Hair royal, patchouli oils, thick coils, fertile soil. Please water these flowers growing out my mind. Intertwined like vines that climb the mother tree. I thank God for loving me enough to color me black. Black like the color of my baby girl's hair. Black like eyes closed in prayer. Speaking of prayer, I want to say a word of prayer to all my black and brown brothers and sisters under the sound of my voice. It is time. It is time for us to rise together, to come together. And guess what? We're all here for it. We're made for it. It's time for us to share in our collective struggle and love on one another. No longer can we allow white America to tell us that we are separate, that we are divided, that we are against one another. No, we are together. We are a melting pot of beauty and struggle and power. TRHT, truth, racial healing, and transformation. This is a call to action to all of our Black brothers and sisters to join us in the movement as we come together, as we heal, as we build, rebuild our relationships. We're doing racial healing circles all over the city all summer, and we want y'all to get connected with us. So right now, if you have your phone, if you have your laptop or whatever, I want you to visit our website. It's transformshy.com and join this movement, because guess what, y'all? We transforming together, one Black and brown person at a time together, y'all. Transformshy.com, all right? Be there, be square. So without further ado, I want to call a beautiful sister by the name of Doc Waltrina, who is just a myriad of talents. I think today we've heard her sing, we've heard her drop some spoken word. So I don't know if she's going to close us out with something really special, but I want to just remind you again, www.transformshy.com. I have so much to say. Those of y'all who know me know I'm very long-winded, so I'm keeping this real short, but I want to have a conversation. It's time for us to have some conversations come together. And let me say this too, before I bring Doc Waltrina, those of you who have expressed your interest in holding space with your own, with holding space with other Black and brown people in a safe space, we just want to let you know that this is the place. This is the place to be. Transformshy.com. Join the movement. All right. Doc Waltrina, are you in the house? Because I'm passing the mic to you.
Yes, I am, and I'm so excited, and I'm just going to very quickly, before I share my piece in closing prayer, send it back to the peace poets who are going to bless us with a little more love, and I'll be following with the closeout. But I love you, Pilar. I love you, Rico. Thank you all so much for the solidarity and the collaboration. This is what we need right now. We need this medicine. We need this love. We need more solidarity. That is the source and key to our liberation. Peace and blessings.
Yes, thank you for that. I love that. I love that. When you've been in quarantine and you haven't received the medicine that you so desperately need, and then your peoples just come through. Such a gift. This piece I want to share in solidarity with the victory of our community recently in protecting DACA and for that to refill our well, to continue to push for equity and for justice in this country, knowing that we were here. Knowing that our ancestors deserve this justice and it is overdue. And so I want to dedicate this as well to the person who inspired it, Marcelo Lucero, who was killed on Lenape land for being brown. This is for the immigrant, undocumented and unrepentant, who says they ain't seeing me because my revolution is being me. This is for the anti-celebrity, a hero whose power is invisibility. This is for the underdog's underdog dog. Try working a 9 to 9 with no paid overtime and a bad spine. They'll redefine your definition of on the grind. They got family on the mind. What they know about depression and dismay, they've crossed rivers to get here and cried them to stay. Undocumented, but they call them illegal. Because last we looked, it was a crime to be equal. They are neglect personified and existence vilified. So forget stages, pens, and pages. They are soldiers waging war below minimum wages. And sage burns slow por la gente que falta. Because we remember the deception of Atahualpa. Was it worth the spoils? Their ancestors fought for gold. Their descendants fight for oil. Our blood fertilizes the soil. We resurrect in the Amazon as trees that will bring down Babylon. But that day seems far from illegal stops asking us for green cards. But my brothers taught me a different set of colors. White man stole red man's land. and use yellow man to build his railroad tram, and use black hands to sow and reap the profits. So when it's said illegals don't pay taxes, I say my peoples have done enough to fill your pockets and contribute to the offense, though they call it national defense. Though if you follow the sequence, we haven't fought a war on our soil for many a season, but we invade other countries like criminal Stephen. Irony is, when they set up a mortgage that I cannot afford, and I look at history and realize, ain't none of this yours. Immigration has a history of how people end up here. I'm from the Caribbean. At least that's in this hemisphere. But you have the audacity to look at me with a foreign fear and distaste because I'm a mischief of mixed race, and you rather I be the illegal immigrant than a Palestinian militant, because the day of all people's revolution is imminent. And on that day, we will not ask you to let us in, because the Creator has already made us citizens. Peace.
Family, what a blessing to be here with you all. I want to bring back the amazing Dr. Reverend Waltrina Middleton to bless us. Thank you.
I am truly blessed. And thank you for lifting up our family in Palestine, and just for all of the love you guys are pouring out. I like to share a piece that I wrote the weekend of Pentecost for our brother George Floyd. And I thank my brother's Peace Poets for helping me with this piece. I can hear my brother crying, I can't breathe. Helicopters in the air, triggering my fears. What's next comes the rubber bullets piercing my body like they pierced Jesus. Crying out for mama to behold thy son. I can't breathe. They don't even need guns. Castrate our bodies from the lynching trees. Cut off my lungs 10 minutes with his knees. Crying out for mama, I can't breathe. Hands in his pockets with a grin on his face. Resentment for my race as my life slips away. Cameras recording America don't care. Black lives don't matter even when our murders are broadcast on air. Evidence before the judge and no convictions to be seen. Yellow tapes, chalk stains on the crime scenes. Blood stains cry out from these Trumpanian streets. Profit over people. We don't care if they die. Fuck COVID-19. Let the fittest survive. Translate that to mean wealthy and the 1%. They say they cut us them checks, but black and brown folks still can't pay rent. In the food bank lines trying to make ends meet, trying to make it to work, but the curfew ends at 9. Can't catch the bus because Lori shut down the lines. Martin says a riot is the language of the unheard. This Pentecost Holy Ghost fire came down and cities burned. Maybe this is the new birth of the church we wish to see, to get us out of them pews and into the streets. A nightmare of hashtags trending, haunting me. Kendrick Lamar, won't you sing for me? Hear that bass drop and I start to believe we gonna be all right even if we must die. Claude McKay said, let it be nobly done, fighting back for the generations to come. Lamentations lift every voice to a rising sun. James Weldon Johnson declared, victory is won. Cut off my lungs 10 minutes with his knees, crying out for mama, I can't breathe. Cut off my lungs 10 minutes with his knees, crying out for mama, I can't breathe. Cut off my lungs 10 minutes with his knees, crying out for mama, I can't.
I still hear my brother crying, I can't breathe. So now I'm in this struggle singing, I can't leave. We calling out the violence of these racist police. And we ain't gonna stop till our people are free. So we ain't gonna stop till our people are free. I still hear my brother crying, I can't breathe. So now I'm in this struggle singing, I can't leave. We calling out the violence of these racist police. And we ain't gonna stop till our people are free. We ain't gonna stop till our people are free. Thank you, family.
We will now close out, prepare to close out. If Pilar or Rico, if you do not have any final closing words, I'm not sure if Peace Poets, if you have another piece, if you are done, then we will end with a benediction in the ancestral wisdom of Mother Toni Morrison. Thank you everyone for being with us tonight. And thank you all so much for the spirit, the love, the wisdom, and the outpouring. Solidarity is where it's at. Here, she said, in this here place we flesh that weeps, laughs, flesh that dances on bare feet in grass. Love it hard. Because yonder they do not love your flesh. They despise it. They don't love your eyes. They just as soon pick them out. No more do they love the skin on your back. Yonder they flay it. And oh my people, they do not love your hands. Those they only use to tie, bind, and chop off and to leave empty. Love your hands. Love them, raise them up and kiss them, touch others with them, pat them together, stroke them on your face because they don't love that either. You got to love it, you. And no, they ain't in love with your mouth because yonder out there they will see it broken and break it again. What you say out of it, they will not heed. What you scream from it, they will not hear. What you put into it to nourish your body, they will snatch away and give you leavens instead. No, they don't love your mouth. You've got to love it. You. This is flesh I'm talking about here. Flesh that needs to be loved. Feet that needs to rest and dance. Backs that need to support. Shoulders that need arms. Strong arms, I'm telling you. And oh, my people out yonder, hear me. They do not love your neck unnoosed and straight. So love your neck and put a hand on it. Grace it, stroke it up and hold it up. And all of your inside parts that they would just as soon slop up for hogs. You've got to love that too. The dark, dark liver, love it in the beat, in the beating heart, love that too, more than your eyes and feet, more than lungs that have yet to draw fresh, free air, more than your life-holding womb and your life-giving parts. Hear me now, love your heart. Hear me now. Love your heart. Hear me now, love your heart. For this is the prize. Ashe. Thank you for being with us, everyone. Peace and love. I'm just gonna ask the Peace Poet to please close us out with some melody. And good night, everyone.
Wow. Thank you so much, Reverend Dr. Waltrina. Thank you for this invitation to be here. Thank you, community, for showing up. We still got 50 people in here strong. How can I follow that up? My goodness. We're gonna do it like this then. This is a piece from my brother Luaya and some other folks from the Wildfire Project, organizing organizers all across the nation and doing that good work. And this is a medicine song right here that goes like this. Let me see if I remember it. Tap into that heart, that beautiful heart that Waltrina was just sharing. Toni Morrison's words. Can you heal? Yes, I heal. Can you feel? Yes, I feel. 'Cause we got all our medicine right here. We've got all our medicine right here. So can you feel? Yes, I feel. And can you heal? Yes, I heal. We've got all our medicine right here. We've got all our medicine right here. Can you feel? Yes, I feel. Can you heal? Yes, I heal. We've got all our medicine right here. We've got all our medicine right here. One more time. Can you feel? Yes, I feel. Can you heal? Yes, I heal. We've got all our medicine right here. Say, we've got all our medicine right here. Yes, we do. Ashe. Peace.
Good night, everyone.